Hello, this is Matt from tracyandmatt.co.uk and from unboxings.com. Here I am looking at the LG Optimus 2X, otherwise known as the LG P990. You'll notice solely over the box it says power of 2 and 2X and other bits and pieces, making reference to the fact that this actually is the first smartphone to have a dual-core processor using the Tegra 2 chipset. It's got two cores running at 1 GHz apiece. So probably, or should be, among the most powerful, if not the most powerful smartphone in the world at the moment. So going to have a quick look at it, do an unboxing, and then we'll actually do our review. So handset on top, which we'll come back to shortly. Underneath, let's see what else we have. We have, that was where the battery was, so the battery's already been installed. And then we have a USB cable, which is a standard USB to micro USB sync charge cable. Then we have the power block. So this is a USB style charger, so it plugs in the wall, and then we use that USB sync charge cable, plugs in there for the charger. Then have a wired headset, which has a 4-pole 3.5mm jack on one end. That seems to be becoming very much the standard, which is great. And then there's an inline microphone with just a small push button on the back. Bring that into focus, there we go. So there's a inline microphone with a small push button, and then some in-ear style headphones. They look quite good. They feel quite weighty as well, so hopefully that's indicative of the quality of the wired headset itself. What else we have? We have an HDMI cable, which refers to itself as an HDMI data cable, but it is micro HDMI there to HDMI. So there's a HDMI connector on the other end. So we can obviously output to a large screen TV or projector or whatever to watch movies, play back our recorded videos, that kind of stuff. Finally, underneath we have the manual, which I won't bother to open. It looks quite thin, not a great deal to it, and getting started guide there. That's all we have in the box. So let's take a look at the handset itself, and I'm just going to take off this screen protector because there's a couple of bubbles underneath it already. So there we go. So on the front we have a 4-inch display, 480 by 800 pixels, capacitive touchscreen. There are bits and pieces around it that make the handset a little bit larger than perhaps the 4-inch display would suggest. So there's quite a large area at the top here with things like your ambient light sensor, proximity sensor, and then a forward-facing camera and a fairly large loudspeaker. The display below that, and then underneath you have your customary buttons for Android. So you've got menu, home, back, and search. They are touch sensitive rather than obviously physical. As you can see there, they are just obviously flat on display, and they take up quite a portion of the bottom area there as well. So it is quite a large slab of a handset, but it is quite thin. Come back to that in a second. On the left hand side is absolutely nothing. As you can see, there is this sort of metallic finish to the edge here, which makes it look quite attractive. On the bottom, 2 grills. I don't know whether that's 2 loudspeakers or just one, but very similar to maybe the iPhone 4 there, with the grills on both sides of the micro USB connector there. On the right hand side, you have 2 buttons. Presumably they're acting as the up and down volume control, so we just push those there, but there's nothing else on that side. On the top we have the power button, and then a cover over the micro HDMI connector. As you can see there, plugs in the top, and a simple cover over it as well. And then there is a 3.5mm headphone connector there, so we can use our own headphones, obviously if they're 3.5mm, which most of them are, or the wired headset that came with it. On the back we have an 8-megapixel autofocus camera. Just take these off there so we can see a bit better. So 8-megapixel autofocus camera on the back with a flash, looks like an LED flash rather than a xenon, but that's there. Back cover should pop off like so. There is a little cutout at the bottom here. The back just does peel off, So we have a space here for micro SD cards, supporting up to 32 gig micro SD memory cards, SDHC memory cards, and then our space here which is for the actual SIM card. Battery, which obviously was already installed, which is 1500 milliamps, and it's not ever so large, but 1500 milliamps is pretty good. Let's just pop that back cover back on. There we go, and that all snaps into place. Back is a little bit plasticky, but once it's in place, it's pretty secure. It does feel quite good in the hand. So let's just power up. While we wait for that to come on, let's run down the rest of the specification. As I already mentioned, it's a Tegra 2 chipset, dual core, running at 1 GHz. There's 512 megabytes of RAM and 8 gigabytes of internal storage. Obviously, as I said already, you can supplement that with up to 32 gig of micro SDHC memory card storage space. Quad band for GSM, dual band for HSDPA, so it'll work most places when you take it away on holiday or whatever. So roaming is not going to be too much of an issue. This is actually running Android 2.2 Froyo, but I gather that it's going to be upgradable to 2.3 shortly after it goes on full retail sale. So it should be available to upgrade pretty much straight away. 480 by 800 pixel display, as I've already said, is 4-inch. It is a TFT LCD display rather than an AMOLED, but it does look quite bright. It obviously boosted the colour output of the display, which is pretty good. We have Bluetooth 2.1 with A2DP support and EDR, and Wi-Fi supporting 802.11bg and N standards. Also supports DNLA if you want to actually output the audio or video over a DNLA supported TV or whatever, then that will actually work no problem. Front facing camera is a 1.3 megapixel for use it for Skype or whatever. G sensor, proximity sensor, and also does have built-in GPS with a GPS support. And also something that's somewhat more unusual is the camera will do full HD video recording. So not only 720p, which is becoming a bit more common now, but also 1080p, which is quite unusual. 1080p up to 24 frames a second. So 720p is pretty common, but 1080p not so common. So that's pretty good. Size 126 millimeters from top to bottom, nearly 64 millimeters wide, and nearly 11. That's 10.9 millimeters at the thickest point there, which is just over the camera. So not too bad in terms of thickness, but the overall size is pretty large. But the weight isn't bad. It's only 139 grams, so it does feel reasonably light in the hand. Not too light though. I've made this criticism of some of other handsets out there that just feel a bit too light, and this feels just about right. It feels solid enough to feel like you've got something for your money, but not too heavy that you're going to not want to carry it. So pretty good. So let's take a look. We'll slide up to unlock. As you can see, it has a little bit of customization here. So you've got a weather widget here with the time, which is just waiting to flip over. It hasn't actually updated just yet. And then 7 panels are on the actual home screen. So you have Google search with the voice search as well, music gallery, video player, and YouTube on this page. Then we have status update. I guess that's going to be associated with Twitter or possibly Facebook. And then it's got alarm clock, calendar, maps, and memo. Then we have a blank panel, and if we come back the other way, we have messages. I guess that will be linked into your email with Gmail, email, Facebook, and Twitter. Icons a lot underneath. A calendar widget there showing you the full month, and then another blank panel. Pressing the middle button will take you back home. I'm not sure if there's a, there we go, oops, back out of there, press too many buttons at once. So there is this sort of overall helicopter view. On HTC call this leap view, but I'm not sure what LG's designation for it is. But the overall view, I thought that was going to probably be something that could only be on HTC, but obviously LG have it here. So you can actually see what's running on all of these panels. If you tap a blank one, we can go to this. Obviously you can add LG widgets or standard widgets. Under LG widgets, it's going to be something, stuff that's a bit more specific to this handset. There's quite a bit in there, actually, so that's pretty cool. So there's lots of things that you can add Got the buttons underneath here with the phone, contacts, messaging and applications. So we can bring up the full list of applications that we have installed. FSecure being one of the more unusual, so that's sort of like our antivirus or online protection. Facebook for LG, there's some customization there possibly. We'll have a look at that when we do the proper review. Gallery and Gmail, and we've got Google Search, Home Selector, Polaris Office, some preloaded apps which we'll come back to in just a second. Remote Call, YouTube voice recorder. So let's just look at preloaded apps. Okay, so we've got some games here. Kindle and Movie Finder, Layer, Guitar Hero, World of Rock, Real Darts, Compass and Calorific. So there's some bits and pieces there that we could play with at some point, and also the car home, camera and a few other things. So let me go back out of here and let's press the menu button and go into settings, wireless and networks, turn the Wi-Fi on, there we go, and go into Wi-Fi settings and we'll add Wi-Fi network. Have a standard QWERTY keyboard there. If I turn it that way, obviously it is in landscape, that much larger. But let's go ahead and put in the key and that will obtain an IP address, hopefully. There we go, it's indicating at the top it's connected with a good reception. The icon's along the top, so that's Wi-Fi. That's in silent and certified break mode. I think that's really indicating that there. There's no SIM card installed, therefore there's no coverage. Battery status and obviously the time. If we come back out of here and then let's go and take a look at the browser. So let's see how that performs. So we've got to Google very quickly. We are using obviously Wi-Fi and broadband connection. There we go, and let's see how quickly our site loads. Well, that rendered pretty quickly. That's a fast loader. Wow, that was fast. So I know we're using a broadband connection, but it does demonstrate the rendering speed. So you would expect it to be pretty quick with the Tegra 2 chipset and the dual core. But it is laid out rather nicely. One thing that is apparent is that they must have done some customization or some work with the screen, because it is a LCD rather than AMOLED, but the colours are really bright, really strong. Red up here in the top indicator bar and the green and blue over here are really strong, really bright. So they've pushed the colour range up a little bit there. So it does make it sort of like pop, but it looks really quite good. With the 800 by 480 display, even the small text here, looking at full screen, is perfectly legible. Quite happily read that just using it in landscape. Obviously we can switch back that way. 2-finger zooming, so we can zoom in and out, or double tap on an area. There we go, second time lucky. So we can actually zoom in and zoom out. That works really quite well. So that's the browser. And then we could go in and take a look. Let's take a look at some of the other things that we've got installed. What else have we got? So we've got Gmail. Well, we could sign into Gmail because that will allow us to get into Android Market. So let's do that now. So that'll take a second or two to sign in. Wow, and again, that was pretty quick. So that will take a little moment or two to synchronize. And while we wait for that, let's go in here, take a quick look at Android Market. We'll accept terms of service, because in signing into Gmail it'll work with the Android Market or vice versa. So you've got apps, games, also downloads. So if anything needed updating here, one thing that typically wants to update as soon as you actually sign into Android Market is Google Maps. That's not offering me that just now, but that's really straightforward. I'll pop that to Gmail. Let's see if that has finished. There we go. So that's brought down my mail pretty quickly, and you've got the email view. There we go. So that works nice and fast. That's pretty straightforward and a standard thing really. The Android application there, or Gmail application for Android rather. in terms of what else we've got, we can then sign in and have a look at YouTube. Set terms of service. So we do a search for EOD, being my YouTube account name. And there we go. So let's take a look at one of these. Just tap on one of these and see how quickly that plays. There we go. Pretty fast. Didn't take too long to buffer. Turning it this way obviously does play at full screen in landscape, and if we switch back to portrait, just has it at the top with all the other bits and pieces underneath, like the description and categories, and you can go to related videos and comments. There we go. It works. I like the actual YouTube application better on Android than pretty much any other device, really. I think it's a really good interface for Android, so I think it's really impressive. I wish it would be updated on some of the other, certainly the iPhone and some of the other versions of it, because I think the Android one is the best by far. Google Maps, again, it's a fairly standard implementation of Google Maps. Nothing terribly special about it. If we go into settings, it's going to want me to turn on my GPS. So we use GPS satellites and use GPS networks. Agree, and then we come back. Let's go back into Google Maps again. And there we go, accurate to within 70 meters straight away, and that works fine. And obviously we can turn on the satellite layer for our satellite imagery, and it just is really rapid. As I say, I know that it's obviously using a broadband connection, but I think we're already seeing some performance benefits from the faster chipset. It just does seem to be working quite quickly when you're going in and out of this sort of stuff. It just seems a lot more fluid. And if we go to see what else we've got Google search, our messaging application, music. Let's see if there's anything pre-installed by way of a sample. There we go, we've got some sample songs here. Okay, so there's some sample music there that we can actually play with. It's always good to have some sample music on a new handset, I think. Just have a little play with it. Navigation is a proper turn-by-turn navigation. There we can speak your destination. It'll work on driving, also walking routes. That's great. You've got an FM radio, which almost certainly is going to require me to actually plug in the headphones in order to make it work. There we go. So you need headphones or a headset to make that work, but having an FM radio is a bonus. I mean, it's not something that really would worry me too much, but it is there should you want to use it. Also a video player. There's a couple of things here. There we go. Samples. This is about the genesis of Tegra. Again, it's good to have just a few things on here, really, to just demonstrate when you have a brand new handset, just to actually be able to play with it. Not just for demonstrating it on video, obviously, but demonstrating it, when you buy it first yourself. Camera, let's take a quick look at that. There we go, let's take a quick snap of the box. There we go, so it's taking a quick snap of the box. Nice thing about this handset as well, because it's got 8 gig of built-in storage anyway, it doesn't immediately complain that you need a micro SD card in order to actually record any photos or videos, so that's pretty good. I mean, obviously you can put in more if you want to, but it will use the built-in memory by default. I think that's pretty much it in terms of what we'll just have a quick look at FSecure. So it's mobile security, and it will want to go online and update, check your updates. So that's your antivirus database updated, and it wants to activate. Well, I won't do that right now on video. It might take a moment or two to do. What else have we got? There's an email client here. I think it's there we go. Want to set up a new email account? No. Well, it's got a combined inbox thing at the top, so it's going to bring together, hopefully, well, that sound suggests it's going to bring together multiple email accounts into one view, which is good. I really do prefer that. It's something that takes a little bit getting used to, but it's good to actually have it. Phone dialer, I suppose we've got take a quick look at that. So you've got nice large buttons there, makes it really easy to dial, and you've got your call log, contacts and groups. Obviously, having not set anything else up, there's nothing else shown in there. So that's a really quick look at the LG Optimus 2X or LG P990. It's in stock over at Clove Technology at clove.co.uk. Our thanks to them for actually lending us this review unit. And if you actually want to go and pick one of these up, head over to clove.co.uk where they've got them in stock at £441.60 at the moment. We'll have a full review for you over the next couple of weeks once we've had a chance to actually really get to know the handset and get to use it properly. In the meantime, if you want to follow us on Twitter, it's twitter.com/TracyandMatt or facebook.com/TracyandMatt.co.uk. Please do feel free to ask us any questions or post any comments, and we'll try to come back to you. Can't get back to everybody, but we'll do our best. We'll be back soon with some more videos and reviews on TracyandMatt.co.uk. But for now, thanks for watching.